Alright guys, let me show you what we're working on today. Today, we are installing a brand new sound system in a small theater in Allen, Texas. The Allen Community Theater facility. They just moved. It's a new building. This is the current sound system that they're working with right now. They had a $5,000 budget, and we got them some good stuff. We got them some big old speaker cables. We got some DBX, graphic EQ. We got them a pair of QSC amps. We got them a rack to put everything in. We got some hardware and some cable to get the speakers up in the air. We got floor monitors, JBL floor monitors. We got JBL mains. And that's our mixing position up there. Let's take a look at that. So right now, their sound system is this little Behringer dude. Oh, we got him a Soundcraft mixer. It's not a big mixer, but it's a very nice mixer. And then, so this is their current system. They got that Behringer mixer, and they got that, it's actually a powered mixer. And that's the amp also that's pushing their, like, Radio Shack PA speakers over there. Alright, we got our main speakers out of the box, putting in eye bolts to hang it from the ceiling. Not all speakers come with these eye bolt options, but this particular model did. There was another set of speakers I was considering, but we'd have to like drill holes to put these things in and that sort of thing, and that was just too much trouble. This was going to be a lot easier. Alright, now that all four of those are on, we are going to put these little shackles on each one of those, and then that part opens up like that, and it goes on here. I got my speakers hung by the chimney with care. On that side, and now I'm going to run some speaker wire from the speakers to my amplifier. Now I've already used a little bit of this stuff called fish tape, which is this long thin piece of metal that comes in a roll, and I'm going to tape with electrical tape. I'm going to tape these speaker wires to that fish tape and pull it over this beam and up in behind that metal piece there, and all the way back to our mix position back there where the amplifier is going to be. So let me show you how to tape these on. You get your fish tape, and you take your two speaker wires, and I'm going to offset them by 1 inch or so. You see that? By 1 inch or so, and then I'm going to get my electrical tape and put the fish tape kind of like this with the speaker cable, and we're going to start, let's see, where do I want to start? I'm going to start at the tip of the first wire, so I'm going to get it on the fish tape. I'm going to wrap my the end of the speaker wire onto the fish tape, and then I want to spiral downwards towards the other speaker wire. Now you want to get this as tight and as small as possible. I've got kind of a large ceiling area to work with, so I'm not too worried about this being super tight, but the tighter it is, the less likely it is to catch on things and to fit into those little spaces where you're trying to run wire. So I'm just going to spiral, 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 a nice tight wrap here. Okay, and then I'm going to break off the electrical tape there, and I'm going to fold it, okay? I'm going to fold it like this, and then finish that wrap. So that fold creates this little pull tab right here, so when I get to the other end and I'm done, I could just unwrap it using this pull tab instead of having to figure out where the end is and peel it off and then it breaks and that kind of stuff. Okay, so I'm going to go to the other end and pull these two wires through from the other side. Okay, so up here is the other end of my fish tape. Comes in this reel, and you just reel it out, and it's a solid piece of metal, so you can shove it down pipes and conduit. Conduit's a fancy word for metal pipes. And I've pushed it along this metal trough, and the speaker cable should sit in that little metal trough. So I'm going to pull on this, and hopefully those wires pull straight to me without catching on anything. Well, okay, I should check the other end real quick. Probably have to help it get started. The tip of it got kind of snagged right about at that metal corner. So I'm gonna put that up in the trough, and then hopefully that's enough to get it started. All right, one more time. Careful, don't let it get away. Oh, snagged. What am I snagged on? Oh, that's it. That's my cables. Nice. You can see the cables go up from the floor next to that other ladder. Keep going. I need some more. Give me some more. Okay, and then we can just use the tab we made earlier to undo the tape. This is easier when I... Alright, so I'm back over here by the ladder by the speakers, and we are going to put some connectors on our speaker wire here, 12 gauge speaker wire. Let's see, this is plenum rated speaker wire, and so that's sort of a fire safety code type thing. It's not required everywhere, but I'm going to go ahead and use it. So, you know, better safe than sorry. So let's see, this is our speak-on connector. It's got 3 pieces. It's got the connector bit, it's got the cable chuck, and then it's got the back. So what do you do with connectors, guys? You got to remember, what do you do first? Put the back on first. If you don't put the back on first, you're going to have a bad time. So I'm going to put this on the cable, just like that. There we go. So there. The back is further up the cable. And then, how much of this do I strip off? Well, let's figure it out. If this goes on like that, and then I need these little teeth, these teeth there, to bite onto the outer insulation there, then I really don't want to strip too much off of there. Maybe like an inch. So about there. Now, I'm not going to squeeze too tight. I'm just going to score the insulation and then just flex it a little bit, and it comes right off. There we go. We got a little bit of this fuzzy paper stuff. Sometimes it's paper, sometimes it's just like plastic string type stuff. Cut that. There we go. And then I'm going to strip off, let's see, how much of this do I want to strip off? Well, how deep does this go into this connector? 1/4 of an inch, something like that. So let's get a 1/4 inch off of there and see if that looks right. Let's just do 1. maybe like this much. Oh, shit. Alright, so how does that look? So we'll loosen that. So this has little screw terminals in it, so I'm going to loosen the screw so that little hole opens up a little bit more. This goes in there. And that looks just about perfect. Yeah, that's just exactly what we want. So let's do the same thing to the other one. Okay, now you may have noticed that the connector has 4 connections. I'm just using a 2-conductor speaker cable. But this has 4, so which ones do I use? Well, if you look at the plastic, hopefully, yeah, there we go. It should say 1 plus and minus and 2 plus and minus. I'm looking for 1 plus and minus. This one on the bottom, I can see the plus, but what number is that? These are C-tronic connectors. Man, I'm just going to tell you, this is my official stance on this. Go Neutrik or go home. That's what I have to say about that. Neutrik is a manufacturer of fine audio connectors, and they make the best ones, guys. Don't talk to me about switchcraft. It's Neutrik or nothing. Let's see. I still can't tell what number that is. This is really hard to tell. That's a 2. Okay, that's +2. That's +2 right there. That's a 1. I think that's a plus sign, so +1. I think this one's -1. I don't know where that number would be. Oh, there it is. Yeah. So it's these 2. All right. This one and this one. There they blow. Oh, hopefully all those little pieces of wire stay together and they fit down in there. Come on, baby. Yeah. We gotta loosen the screw a little bit. Well, thank goodness for phone cases. Okay, that's a little better. Is that gonna help? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so there's no longer any exposed copper. You definitely don't want that exposed wire hanging out. You just want you don't want to even see it. Just insulation all the way up into the connector. But have enough of that copper exposed to where it makes a good electrical connection. But you don't want it hanging out the back of especially you don't want it hanging out the back of your speaker connections, because that's the higher wattage stuff. And if that creates a short, you're going to have a problem. Alright, tighten that down. This takes kind of a smaller Phillips screwdriver than your average Phillips. So use the right tool for the right job, guys. Don't try to do this with the XL Phillips screwdriver. Okay, now the cable chuck, you might think I have to put this on, and I forgot to do that, but it's got this break in it, so you can kind of do that afterwards, just like that. And this goes on here. Let me get the back. There we go. Okay, so this is going to fit right about like this. Yeah. And then the back is going to go over the top of all of that. And then you're going to screw it down. You can hear it click. And that's squeezing those teeth together around the thick rubber insulation there. It's better for those teeth to bite on the big, thick rubber insulation than it is for them to bite on your conductors. So keep that in mind. That's why I stripped off the length of cable I did. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing to the other one, and we're going to plug it into our front of house speakers. Alright, let's take a look at how I've hung these speakers. There's a big I-beam that kind of runs from side to side. And we basically just thrown some chain over the top of the I-beam and then connected it to the the shackles and the eye bolts on either side. There are better ways, more professional ways to hang speakers. But this, like, there's other ways where you, like this, doing it this way, it doesn't give you the ability to angle the speaker. Like if I wanted to turn the speaker like more towards the center of the audience or whatever, that wouldn't be possible with this configuration. But for budgetary reasons, this is what we're going with. You'll notice on the shackles that I have put a zip tie through the hole of the screw, the shackle screw. So that's ensuring that this will never, ever come unscrewed, you know, just by accident or by vibration or whatever. Anyway, so here on the back of the speaker, you can see the two speak-on connections. I can use either one of those to connect my speaker cable to. You'll see right here, it actually says passive, +1 in, 8 ohms. 2 is not connected, so you remember I had plus and minus 1 and plus and minus 2 on the inside of my speak-on connector. Well, this is telling me right here that the 1 connections are what they're using for the 8 ohm for the speaker, and then the 2 connections, they were not used at all. So that's how I knew which pins to use. So let's go ahead and connect. It doesn't really matter which one, they're both the same. Let's see, it's kind of hard to do. Using a camera on a ladder, I'll go for the farther one. I'll push that in, and then we'll rotate. Alright, so I've connected my speaker wire, and I ran it up the chain, and I've zip tied it a couple of times to the chain. Now I don't want that extra zip tie hanging out, and this is where your flush cutters come in. Flush cutters will cut that zip tie right up against where it is, where it's zipped, and it will look nice and neat, and it won't be sticking out or anything like that. Do the same thing to the zip tie that I've got up here. There you go. It just runs right up. And then later we're going to spray paint these chains black. Something else I wanted to point out is that in the event they decide to push these speakers further out towards the wall, I don't want to be at the end of my rope as far as speaker cable. So just in case, I left this coil of wire right there and zip tied it up there. So if they do want to move the speaker, they can, and that tucks that extra little excess cable neatly out of the way, not visible by the audience. Right, and then after that I built my rack, little IKEA project, and then after I built the rack I put all the gear in it. The top here, I know it's kind of dark, is a Furman power supply. Underneath that is a dual 31 band graphic EQ for the monitors. And then under that is your power amp for the main front of house speakers. And then under that is the power amp for the 2 monitors. And connected to those amplifiers is our mixer. We got a little 12-channel Soundcraft unit here. 3-band EQ on every channel. 2 aux sends for the 2-stage monitors down there. And yeah. And it's all done, man.